H-O-K. The toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. The toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. Chakuri described hieroglyphs on the scroll. Chemic teacher, ancient truths in the soul. Napa the queen, her crown never bends. Wisdom in her voice, the cosmos ascends. Jabari the veteran, the base sharp as blades. Dr. Reggie from the Bronx, history's cascade. Apostle Bible soldier, scriptures in his veins. Santana general, war cries like chain. You need tough skin, where the battle begin. Source up your information. I'm a thick ass kid. The toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. The toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. Uncle Rage made a fire in his stare. Inky undefeated, a legend beyond compare. Moses 777, numbers align. Pants for me a prophet, stardust divine. I saw the fanboy with faith in his stride. Task after Hebrews, the tide he'll ride. Each name a pillar, each voice a storm. In the temple of debate where truth is born. Strings cry out, violence wail. 808's thunder, breaking the veil. Human beatbox echoes through the fight. H-O-K warriors, their words ignite. The toughest environment to be in.
We are the babies of Sarnetta. We are emulating the greatness of Sarnetta, the HOK, the House of Consciousness, and the trailblazing work by the one and only Sarnetta. And I told Sarnetta, because we your babies, Sarnetta, because we your goddamn babies, we gonna be successful, bruh.
Step in this ring, we go toe for toe, toe for toe. Toughest environment, round for round, blow for blow, blow. So one out mine of all that storm, rain, sleet, and snow. Camp on my back like a medic, been ready for war. HOK on the front line, ready to go. We done run with the jungle, climbed out the snow. We don't deal with the foes, can't trust them. Them boys throwing signs, but they ain't saying nothing. I see my bread on my sleep, and when I wake from it, it's about to go down up in the street. We bout this shit, something. Sitting on my feet, cause I'm a man on that fix. Running, welcome to the HOK, we like a wig coming. No, we don't slide with the snakes, to the weight from us. Get them your last, watch and see this thing gon' take from you. For the babies, get my heart and soul in your wave form. I put my life on the line like I'm big phone. See, in a minute, we in the minutes, I'm Popeye with this bitty. We keep it bottom moving like it's in it. I'm right there back and want me, you can get it. I got that hammer homie like a way. Research, run that badger like a play. Bring it towards you like a play. I'm a with us, we straight. Step in this ring, we go toe for toe, toe for toe. Toughest environment, round for round, blow for blow, blow. So one out mine of all that storm, rain, sleet, and snow. Camp on my back like a medic, been ready for war. HOK on the front line, ready to go. go. We done run with the jungle, we done climbed out of snow. We don't deal with the folks, can't trust them. Them boys throwing signs, but they ain't saying nothing. They say that they ready for what we gon' get in the thing change. They living in the thing, they rope at their bottom, they hollering the gang, can't go in the bang, they killing the name, bang. Take away for these baby, they living each in the same thing. I gotta keep it alive, we clean them, bucket them hot, we make a way to the top, yeah. I thank the Father cause he made a way, and all my haters, all stars, they do the fatal with them. Up from the gossip, the drama, the hate, they to the chatter. Oh, when they go down, they still hollering thunder. We go to war for them people, I'm talking young and old, toe for toe.
Peace. Assalamu alaikum. Hotep. Namaste. Shalom. Shalom. Jumbo. Ashe. All the greetings of love and light to the darkest minds of the light. I am Napashada. This is the HOK Coliseum. This is the Napashada Rise channel. Reality is simulated existence. Thank you so much for tuning in right now. It's late, but it's still going to be great. It's early somewhere in the world. Somewhere in the world, it's early. And somewhere in the world, it's late, like right here, but it's okay if it's late. All right, so what are we doing? First off, before we get started, I'm going to talk about the debates coming up. We have Zion Warchild, the barbarian, up against Selah Shalom, the gladiator. Is Ethiopian Christianity a product of Greco-Roman influence? Well, we'll see. If you tune in, we'll find out each one of these titans' arguments in the Colosseum, each one of these gladiators. That's coming up on the 20th of this month in 10 days. Tune in right here, only in the Colosseum, only on the HOK platform. Also coming up, if you haven't gotten your ticket yet, if you're not aware, I will be debating Black Sage, also formerly known as Yara. I will be debating him, and that will be going on the 27th of this month. Get your tickets. The link will be in the chat, hopefully. If not, I'll grab it and get it and drop it so you can grab your ticket. I'm going to be doing this debate in person. So if you want to be there during the debate party, be there by contacting me and I'll let you know the location. But you do purchase your ticket through the link on the Zoom. All right. So now we got that all out of the way. Let me take this down. All right. Peace to the chat. Peace to the family. Please hit the like. Please share the stream. Genesis. Peace. Genesis, what are we going to talk about today?
So, there is a scholar by the name of Franck Zanu who is...
You're being too not kind to call him a scholar, but okay. I'd say he's more of an activist, but go ahead.
Well, I would say activist, scholar that has been kind of heating it up, saying a lot of things, and he recently got on this one podcast and I was like, you know what? This is crazy. He's pretty much saying that Black Americans have no culture.
Wait, repeat that so they can hear that in the back. The people in the back could hear you.
So he's saying Black Americans have no culture.
Yeah. We did a show the night before last. Recently, we did a great show about, we did a show critiquing the foundational Black American movement, where their position, some of them say they don't have to treat elders in a special way. We did a scathing review and critique. So today, showing that we're not, showing that we're fair and balanced, we're about to do another review, scathing critique, but this time it's going to be on an African nationalist, right? He's an African nationalist. You would say that, correct?
I don't even know.
Well, he promotes Africa pretty hard.
Yeah, he does, and he's from Benin.
He's
from Benin, and it's interesting because it's like he is going really pretty hard on, like, hey, what is culture, and what is, so it, but I think that
I keep
initially
being
when you
nice
watch
to this
it,
guy.
say it again.
You said he said, "What is culture?" He said we black Americans don't have any culture.
Right. So he tries to define culture. He gets into language, he gets into a lot of things, and it's interesting.
Yeah, I'm going to say it again. This time, for me, he's speaking from a. I respect that he's speaking from his personal perspective. I would hardly say he's a scholar, because a lot of the information that he is standing on is, a lot of it is flawed, or he just disregards actual history of the Black American and Black American culture. So with that said, Genesis, we're not going to be here long. I'm not going to go over an hour. Both of us decided that. So
Yeah,
Genesis, go ahead and
and
let's
I'm
start.
gonna be kind of skipping through this. I'm not gonna like play the whole thing.
I want you to play the key points where he's pretty much going in on Black Americans, and I'm glad we're going to try to get him onto the channel and interview him, let him speak for himself. But I do want the African Americans, or excuse me, not African Americans, Black Americans, people who are the descendants of this of people who were taken as slaves from Africa. I want you to really listen. The ones of you who praise Africa and Africa can do no wrong and protect Africa at all cost. I do want you to know that his point of view is not atypical or unpopular, because what we're looking at is he's looking at it from an immigrant point of view, where people want to be in America. They know that it's a place for prosperity. They know it's a place to thrive and get their businesses and make their lives better. I mean, they're hijacking, not hijacking, excuse me. They're stowing away in wheel wells of commercial airplanes to get here. So we can't beat him up too much, because he's looking from a point of view from an often unindustrialized country that a lot of Africans come from. And he's saying, why do I have to look to you Negroes for anything? He says, if anybody I should thank the white man for everything that goes on in America, in the United States.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So I just wanted to get that. I want to preface that. So when Genesis plays this, let's take a look, and peace to everybody in the chat. Hit the like. Let's hear what this man has to say.
All right. So
I'll add this for you.
Americans would say, well, you're not one. Yes, I know, but I'm walking past my cousin, my nieces every day. So what is in my head is what is in their head. And what I'm explaining is something that they must listen.
Now, hold on. Is this too fast? Because I did put it on 0.125, and he does have an accent. Should I slow it down back to normal?
You should not slow it down. I think it's okay. We can stop it and clarify. I can understand it, just because I don't know how he's going to react to us using this, but it's still fair use, and we're within the guidelines of YouTube. But still, these YouTube streets are crazy. So far, what you're hearing, yeah, he does have an accent. Just let us know. What are we about to hear? You queued it up. What are we about to hear?
He's talking about what is culture, and he's discussing that language dictates culture. Let's go.
When I say there is no such thing as African American culture, they're like, what do you mean? But culture for me is not dance, food, clothing. Those are not cultures. Culture is a worldview. The worldview is what drives people. Their relationship to wealth, to money, to community, to marriage, to family. It's the worldview they have. That's the foundation of a culture.
Okay,
and number two, there is.
So we got to walk this down slowly. That's his point of view
of what culture is. He's saying culture is not dance, music, this, boom, boom. And his idea that African Americans do not have culture. And he's also saying that Even Africans don't have culture. Like even his country in Benin don't have culture.
Well, that's why I wouldn't call him a scholar. I want to take this down for a second and show everybody, or I could just read it to y'all. Leave this up. Let me read. We know what culture is. We know he's wrong. He's absolutely 100% wrong, because anybody knows that culture, the definition of culture is the arts. He said it's not dance and music. He's already has to take a back seat to the back seat. In fact, he has to run behind the car. All right. He's wrong. Culture is the arts and other manifestations of human intellectual achievement. That includes music, dance, and anything else that derives from a collective of input that people have built in a specific group, right? So it is the arts and other manifestations of human intellectual achievement regarded collectively. Another definition is customs. Yes, that is a part of culture. Arts, social institutions, and achievements of particular nations, peoples. So he says that it's not music, it's not food, it's not different customs, but he says something else that he is right about people's personal views, but he's saying no. You know why he's saying that though, family? He's saying it because he knows that we have a strong position when it comes to things like music, dress, food, and language. He's wrong about language even. Continue, Genesis.
No possibility for you to have a culture without having a language. So if you read most of the books written by brilliant African Americans, the first thing you see, the headline is, the traumatic thing about slavery is not merely changing your environment. The traumatic thing about slavery is not merely asking you to work long hours. The Russians had hard labor camps in Siberia. Many countries, Japanese had it, where people work and they die. The traumatic thing about slavery is one thing only, which everyone has written about. They took our language away. They took our culture away. They took our history and religion away.
I gotta have you pause.
That is a traumatic thing about being.
You gotta pause it. Number one, we're gonna cut him off at his knees, y'all. He's saying the traumatic thing is that they took our language. You're not qualified, sir. We need you to come over and speak for yourself. Siberian labor camps, Japanese labor camps. Yes, that is absolutely atrocious. We're talking about an empire built off of the work,
the backs,
the literal backs, and the work of slaves. That is why we're unique. When people start saying slavery, there's slavery everywhere. We built the United States capitalism. We are the foundation of the capitalism, not just the Protestant religion, which is part of it. We built it. They took people from a continent, brought them over to this continent, and literally put them to work. And we built this country. We built the economy. We built the infrastructure. So that is the uniqueness. We're not talking about Siberia. We're not talking about the coldest part of the world where nothing is there besides what is there. A few, whatever. There's people there, I know. But I'm saying we're talking about the center of the world, which is the United States. And African slaves built this country. They built it. They built it. Okay? And they built other countries. The diaspora of the slaves from here. When I say diaspora, I mean not us. We have the Caribbean. We have different parts of the world that were literally built up. We've got sugar, cotton. We're talking about the money there. We've got the railroads. We've got you could go on and on and on. Slaves built this. The plantations were built and worked by slaves, African ones, Africans. So that's the uniqueness. So he's wrong about that. To compare us to Siberians and Japanese, he's wrong about that. It's not just about the slavery. It's not just about the physical, the death and the physical torture. It's about the money that was made, the wealth that was built up. Talk about that, Frank. Talk about that. And then when you talk about language, there's parts of the United States I can go into and I don't understand a lick of what they're saying. So yes, is English the first language that it came from? You know, because from what Genesis.
Oh, here's the thing: is when we brought this up, that people came up and said, "Well, there's dialect, and then there's dialect, and then there's so there's language, the dialect, and yeah." So they were saying we might have different dialects. He goes into Haitian patois and says that that's more of a respectable culture because they have a language. Well, watch this. He's going to get into it. Watch this.
But wait, before you started, that's French. I wanted to get this out. These are dialects. So if he's saying language, I'm doing air quotes. He's not saying, he's talking about a specific way of communicating, a communication. We had Tut when we were enslaved. Creole they're not just talking about spoken language. There was capoeira. Capoeira was a language that slaves created capoeira
was the actual language.
Well, it was not a spoken language, but it was a way to communicate. I'm saying.
Yeah, I thought it was like a dance.
It's a dance, but it's a way. It was a communication. When we talk, that's why I'm saying he's saying language, but then he says that Creole is a unique language to Haitians. So when he uses the word language, is he talking about dialect? Is he talking about?
No, he's saying that Haitians created their own language based on Creole, other languages in Africa, and then French.
But Creole
and then
is
if the Haitians go anywhere else in the world, they have their own language that no one else speaks. So,
but that's why he's not a scholar.
Similar to having a language.
But
so,
French is French. Creole is French, and it's a derivative of it comes from the French language, and it's got African words mixed in from the slaves, but it's primarily French. He doesn't know that here in America, English, the slaves did the same thing with the English language. Slaves changed the English language.
In Cuba, like Cuban Spanish is not the same as Mexican or even Spanish. Like when you try to translate a Cuban person speaking, it's like the translator is like, what? Like,
exactly. As I said, Jamaican, like patois, that's English, but I can't understand what Jamaicans are saying.
Right.
So he's wrong. He's and it's okay. I mean, this isn't a personal attack on him, but his information is flawed. And it's because he's coming from a perspective of most Africans, not just him. They don't, it's insignificant what blacks, not only what we went through, but what we contributed to America, to the United States. To them, it's insignificant.
And let me just say this. He starts off talking about how he traveled here, he traveled there, he went here. This whole thing about how he's traveled and went and been here and been there. So it's almost like a thing, like almost like a subservient, like not like a condescending. When I went to Korea, for instance, when I went to Japan, when I went to Haiti, when I went to this country. So it's almost like, yeah, I've been to these countries and you haven't, and I know, and based on my research, this is what I found. So it's almost like he's trying to like say, okay, you haven't been anywhere outside the US. So therefore, based on what I know about culture, about language, and this and the other, you have no culture. Because
he's banking on that, but most Americans haven't been anywhere. He's banking on that, but there are people who have been to different countries, and you don't have to go to another country to understand what their culture is. It's a great thing to do, but you don't have to visit another. I don't have to go to Japan to know about their culture, to know that they have a culture that is, based on, a lot of it is based on Shintoism, and they respect their ancestors, and I don't have to go there.
So what's Japanese black anyway? Like, come on, like people actually do the research, you'll find out.
Yeah, that's why you got to stop calling him a scholar. Let's listen to him.
Those things away. How and when were they recovered? So I met a gentleman. I was attending a conference in Singapore, and I met this gentleman who was a Korean sociologist. So we started talking during coffee, and I said, "Oh, I lived in Korea for 2 years when I was reporting." And I said, "Oh, wow!" And then we started talking. I don't remember how the conversation came about when he asked me. He said, "So your country was colonized?" I said, "Yes." And my country, his country, Korea, was colonized by the Japanese for 49 years. And he said, "What did you guys," meaning referring to people in Benin, "what did you lose as a result of colonization?" And I froze and I said, "Whoa, nobody has ever asked me that question." So I said, "Prof, you tell me, and that will give me some idea." And he said, "No, we're Koreans, we're colonized by the Japanese. So when they left, all we lost was time. We just went back being Koreans." And from that day, I could tell clearly, what did we lose as a result of colonization in Africa? What did you lose as a result of slavery? If you don't fix that which you lost, you're not going to make any way forward. So in Africa, the countries that exist today were never there.
I don't know. You need to pause it before we get past it. See how he just compared apples to oranges? We weren't colonized, sir. We were kidnapped and trafficked. That's not the same. We actually don't know literally where we came from. We get it. We have an idea, West Africa, da 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 da. We weren't colonized only. We can't go back to anything. We're completely disconnected. We're trying to reconnect. For all those who are going to be triggered by me saying this, it's true. When you're snatched from somewhere and brought to another world, a whole different continent, thousands of miles over the ocean, and then you're built that you stay there for 500 years and more. You get it? Like, this isn't just about colonization. That is why we're unique. Not even the Native Americans have experienced this. No African, no Korean, no Russian has experienced this. Only Black Americans, who are the descendants of slaves, have this uniqueness. Right. So don't compare the slave trade, human trafficking, to colonization. It's not the same. We can't go back to anything. We didn't just lose time. We lost our entire being. Our entire history is a fractaled, shattered puzzle, shards of our lives that we can never get back together. It's different, and that's a fact.
I agree. Yes.
Yeah.
They force a group of tribes that have their own distinct cultures to become a country. So they've lost their distinct cultures, trying to have a culture as a collective, which is never going to happen. So for me, first and foremost, when I talk about culture, I'm talking about a worldview, meaning the collective have to have one reason they are here on earth. And that thing is what drives them. It's what makes them wage wars, conquer people, anything. You ask anybody, in 1884, it was the Irish journalist who finally found a word to describe the English man, which he called the manifest destiny. That exceptionalism of the Englishmen, now you call them Americans. The American exceptionalism is the American culture, that they believe that God put them on this earth to colonize and civilize others. And that's what drives them to go out there and try to give freedom and fight for freedom and do all the things they do now. Good or bad, I'm not giving any value. You ask the Japanese, who will tell you their worldview. So their dance and food, and no, those are not. I came from a place where, as a young boy, I was given a worldview, and it guided me everywhere I went. So when you meet me outside my culture, you can tell from my behavior, he must come from a culture that believes in XYZ. So a culture becomes more pronounced when you are outside the group. As an individual, outside your group, people must be able to tell.
Okay. Dave, what is your rebuttal?
Yeah. So he basically this is his thing. So all right, we have no culture. All right, what defines culture? So there's the We Built America. Let's go.
Hold on, real quick. Let me let N'Gola
I
come
came
in
from a
here.
place where, as a
Pause it
young
for a
boy, I was
second.
given a
Did you want to
worldview.
say something?
Yep.
Peace. What do you want to add, N'Gola?
Can you hear me
Where do
clearly?
you at, brother? I know you're one of, just like Genesis, you're very, very connected and pro Africa, like my sister Genesis. What do you think about this African gentleman bashing Black Americans? And then you can add
I
what you
mean,
think.
can you hear me clearly? Because I
Yeah,
got
we hear you.
Bluetooth
We hear you.
earphones here.
We can hear you.
All right. So, I mean, this is just run of the mill sentiments that I hear from most content. No, I wouldn't say most quote unquote professional. I mean, Africans that have went through academia. Uh, in terms of his critique, I mean, a lot of the things he's saying are true, but we know that they're true. But it's not necessarily to detract from our experience. I think what we don't realize over here is the social stratification that goes on the continent. This dude is not reflective of the average civilian on the continent. Um, there's a lot of social stratification that goes along on the continent, and he would fit the category of what Marxists would call bourgeoisie in terms of what they're doing. Someone like him would look down on the average village person. So,
Right.
and when he talks about culture on the continent, a lot of the culture on the continent has been eroded by colonialism, and not exactly the same way as slavery, but a lot of remnants of culture. They still have it on a practical level, but on an intrinsic level, a lot of people don't have the understanding of what their culture represents, as far as from a governmental standpoint and sure, on a spiritual standpoint, to a certain extent, you have if you go down into the villages, yeah, they still have that, but for the most part, people are moving away from it because of colonialism. So, I mean, it's not what he's saying is true if most people are still practicing their culture, but that's just not the case right now.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what do you mean? Can you elaborate when you say what part of him, what is he right about so far? You're muted. Now we can't hear you.
I would from no from the because I just got. Can you hear me now?
We hear you now, yeah.
Can you hear me now?
No, I hear you now. It was just kind of like we couldn't hear you for a
Yeah.
second.
So I would say. Yeah, no. From the video so far, I haven't seen anything that he like because I just got on. But from what because I see clips of this interview. I mean, just from the standpoint of as far as what we deem as culture, like when I hear most quote unquote Black Americans talk about culture, they mention rap music, they mentioned well, just music in general, arts in general. That's a part of culture, but that's not really the substance and essence of culture. Culture is really, like you said, worldview, rites of passage, really social norms, social mores, stuff that's going to allow you to create functional societies and families. And from a contemporary standpoint, that's lacking. That's extremely lacking in quote unquote Black American culture. We have a lot of, I would say, ancillary things, but as far as stuff that's essential to culture, no. There aren't any rites of passage program, or rites of passage cultures in African American culture. There aren't any marriage rights in African American culture. African American culture, as far as relationship rights, people are going to get down on one knee and give somebody a diamond. That's a European creation, and it's a very recent European creation. The weddings that we have are extremely European. You might have people do the electric slide, but most females dream of having a white bridal dress and a tuxedo and in a chapel in the church. That's all European stuff. So in essence, our culture is I would say largely European based, sprinkled with a little bit of African retention, but it's not. We add a little flavor to it, but most of our culture is European based. I would say in America.
Okay, let me remind you before. Don't play that yet. let me remind you that we do have our unique part of our culture, which people are trying to get rid of, which is the understanding that we come from slavery. A lot of people are ashamed of slavery and they want to escape slavery history by saying, oh, I'm not really from Africa, I'm indigenous here. Or people say, they see it as weakness because for so long, America has told us it's weakness and that you should. And when I was younger, they'd say, oh, stop complaining, get over it, move on. So
What about jumping the broom? Didn't we
what
have?
I was about to say, we do jumping the broom from slavery. We have reunions. I saw someone say reunions.
No, yeah, we no, but that's true.
There's a yeah.
No, but jumping the broom, yeah, we did that during slavery times, but that's what I'm saying. Like it's not, it hasn't been continued. But if you, not every black wedding I've been to, nobody jumps the broom.
And wait,
It's a European, it's a European ceremony.
No,
They have the white dress on, they have the tuxedo, and it's in a church.
You wait a minute. First off, the Europeans didn't start white dress. Okay, that's African. Europeans didn't start white dress. We have an African, she's an African priestess, and I appreciate you.
No, I'm saying white dress in terms of how they do it.
But they didn't start it though.
No, I'm not saying no. No, I'm not. As far as a wedding goes, yes, that's not. You're not gonna. Well, we got it from them. I'm not saying that they necessarily started it. No, no. I'm not gonna say they literally started wearing white dresses. But as far as from a wedding standpoint, the whole veil, that's not our culture. If you go to an African wedding, that's not how it's done. You're gonna have different garbs. It's the things like people are gonna pay the bride price. Each family's gonna come. They're gonna exchange gifts. It's totally different. It's substantive. Like I'm saying, like it's not, I'm not saying it's our fault that we necessarily don't like haven't created our own specific rights because that's not been a focus.
I think Sa is asking for the link. Is that really Sa Netter in the link?
No, he has the link.
You were speaking.
He's in the back. No, this is the thing, and I appreciate your input, but I do want to clarify for everybody: veiled brides and brides wearing white goes way back to ancient times, and it goes back to ancient cultures. It is not exclusively white people in America. A bride having on white would signify the white sheet.
No, I'm not. I wasn't saying that.
No, I'm not saying you did. I just want to clarify because what is being said by him is that we don't have our own culture. Everyone comes from something. This is the thing. We're a new people. We're new, even the white people of America, of the United States, right? We're new. We're a new group of people. We have different cultures here. And so if we looked at let's say white people today, they don't have a culture that they've extended from like, ancient times, and it's exactly the same as it used to be. Even with him, with his people, they're an older group of people. They're an older, more connected group of people, connected to who they are.
They don't have culture.
But it came from something. Everybody takes every group that you're in, right? Because Black people, we have a culture. We definitely have a culture. And just not to get too much into like all these different cultures, I'm going to focus on Black culture. Our culture in America has a strong foundation in slavery that a lot of people are trying to get away from. And that's the problem. That's why we can have people like him come on in and say, oh, you don't have a culture. But we do have a culture. It's like there's a lot that we do that is unique to Black people. There's a lot that we say we understand within ourselves the way we are. Like if we walk into a place and we see a buffet and somebody standing there just using their hands to pick something off the buffet. In our culture, that is looked down on, and we'd be like, what the hell? We'll look at each other. People make jokes. I mean, I know people are going to come for me, but I actually don't think raisins in potato salad is so bad. But that's part of our culture where we laugh at that. And Black people like, we don't do those certain things. We don't eat certain things. We don't do things a certain way. It's just that with us, we're so embedded in this United States culture because we are the foundation of the United States culture. They're not the it's the opposite way around. And Ngola, I'm gonna hand you the mic. Do you know this though, that American culture is from Black people, not white people? American culture is built from us, not them. When they got here, when they first got here, the Native Americans had to tell them to stop digging up the dead and trying to eat them. They had nothing. They didn't have a culture. They were trying to survive, and they were dying. So when we got here, we knew how to do things. We knew how to live off the land. We knew how to make things. We knew how to adjust to hardness, to the hard times that because we came from a warring land with it, when we were in the west coast of Africa. You know, we came from a lot of wars, so we knew how to survive. We built this culture in the United States. The United States didn't build up. They didn't hand us anything. They didn't hand us their culture. They literally watched us in every single way: how we raise our children, how we dress, how we eat, how we survived, how we worship. They followed us. We're the trendsetters. And that's what the problem is. We can have people from Africa say, oh, y'all don't have a culture. We are American culture. And that's fact. We can look into it and show, oh, this came from Blacks. Not just the music, but the music is such a strong part of it. The music is a great example. We built the music here. We built the way people dress. Everything is from African slave progeny. Absolutely everything is from the Africans and from the African slaves and the African descendants. Even the language, how people look, we have white people going around talking about bruh and doing stuff that we did first. And so I know I said a lot, but I mean, I appreciate your point of view, but I beg to differ. We built the culture here. American culture is our culture. It's not the white man's culture. It's ours. Go ahead.
Yeah, forcefully as countries. Today, my nieces and nephews can't even speak my language properly. And the French and English, they can't even speak it properly. Because in one classroom, you have 26 kids who come from different tribes in that classroom. So they can only use English or French or Spanish or Portuguese to teach this myriad of tribes now who don't speak their language anymore. African Americans were not prevented from speaking their language. When the ship arrived, it was one from this tribe, that tribe, that tribe, that tribe. So automatically you can speak to each other. And when you don't speak your language for a while, like I've been outside Africa now, going 40 years. If I meet any of my uncles and I start to try to speak my language, I'm interfered by English constantly, and I can't finish it. I can't make a coherent sentence in my own language because at school, you could not use that language because you are now a bucket of different languages. The same thing happened here. You were brought as a shipload of different languages. That is why Creole and Patois were created. So you use the only word you can understand, a little bit of the colonizer or whoever is controlling you, and try to speak to someone who comes from Senegal. You don't know what he speaks. So over time, it becomes this hodgepodge of a language called Creole or Patois. In Sierra Leone, they have it. In Liberia, they have it. In Nigeria, they have the pidgin English because they can't speak to each other. So nobody prevented you. All you need is not to use your language because there is no one there to speak to. And the next generation, it's gone. The Jews, however, it was Jews. They took them as Jews. So they went from country to country.
Did you want to say something, Ngola? And then I want to address what he's. I'm not clear on what he's saying, Genesis. So I want you to come in and clarify if he's against Patois and Creole. Does he think it's a unique language or not? But
Ngola, he's saying that the people that speak Patois, he actually feels that the people that speak the Patois actually have more culture than American English But
That's not what it sounds like. What he's saying, though, he said he can't even speak his own language.
watch when he's
country to country, they were lucky enough to keep talking to each other because they can understand each other. So they were able to retain the language. This is my starting point. It happened to us on the continent.
Wait, stop.
So don't be fooled. You hear countries
language?
like Nigeria, Ghana.
What language
If you
is he
ask
talking
5
about?
Ghanaians,
Retain what language?
the patois and the pidgin and all these different like conglomerates.
Pidgin, Creole, patois.
I think he's speaking about the pigeons and the Creole, the Quail and Haiti.
Right. So in Africa they have pidgin, and in America we have patois, or like in Haiti and Jamaica. But,
Yeah, but that's I think that's what he's saying as far as.
But that's slave language.
Well, pidgin is not, but the thing is patois,
Suriname.
pidgin. So
yes. One from
Yeah,
the
what he's saying is just it is, but that's
he's saying something. Go ahead, Angola. What were you saying? Angola.
he's on mute.
Tinga BC.
can you hear me?
We can now.
Can you okay, so he's speaking about how it formed. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, so what I think he's just speaking about the formation of of how the language is formed. He's like, as far as that goes, that's just about isolation. Um, as far as like, if you look in Jamaica, even past the patois, you got the people, the Cromantes. They were isolated. They quote unquote called the Maroons. They were isolated, so they kept most of the Twi. So they literally speak an African language. It's not as widely spread because they're isolated communities in the mountains. But that like the African retention over here, it all depended on how isolated you were. If you like in Haiti and Jamaica, they didn't have as much contact with the Europeans, so they retained much more of the African culture. Over here in America, it was more of a they were integrated more with Europeans. So and the Europeans over here were more strict about not allowing African culture to be prevalent. So it's less direct retention. But I don't think he's making a value judgment upon the languages per se. He's just saying how they form.
Yeah, but she said that he was saying that at least they have their own language, but patois, Creole, and even you said no, not pidgin, but even that, those are languages that slaves used. They're slave languages. They were formed from slaves mixing Spanish and French and English with their African language. So when you talk about
Pidgin isn't a slave language, though.
what?
I think you should hear the rest of the.
No, before I hear the rest of it, though, I do want to establish:
Pidgin is spoken in Nigeria right now.
Yeah, but I'm saying when you talk about Creole,
Pidgin is spoken in.
So pidgin hasn't been used by Haitians. They haven't mixed that with Creole. Pidgin, no. I think they have. I mean, that's just my personal take on it. I have. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, it's slavery.
I know that Haitians have. They still have African syntax, and they still have African words too within Creole.
Right. So wouldn't it be safe to say, see what he's doing, and I'm not going to let him do this. He's just trying to disconnect Haitians.
I think I have a delay.
I know you do. So, just like with our FBA brothers and sisters, you cannot disconnect the slaves and the descendants of slaves of Haiti, of Haiti, from American slaves. You're not going to do that. So their language is formed from slavery. That was a slang. They had the same. He's like using them against us. He's using them against us. They have the same situation as we do. When he says, well, you don't have a culture. No, if they have a culture, we definitely have a culture. It's just weird. This is the United States. This is the empire of the world. So he can't see it clearly.
The whole thing is that if you don't have language, you don't have culture.
And we have a language.
I think
We have a language.
I think, but
You'll hear him say is that when we talk about what they're going to do is say, well, what about like Ebonics and this? Well, what language is that? English. So
Yeah, we have English. And what language is Creole? What language is Creole? French.
Right, but see, here's the thing. But I want you to see how egotistical this whole thing is.
I am, but we need to clear this up. That we're not, do not let them get away with this. Okay, it's because we live in in the capital of the world that they're saying the Black American slaves don't have a language. Yes, we do. It just so happens that our language, English, and whatever one you want to say, Ebonics, if you want to say whatever, our language that we use as Black Americans, as Black people of the United States descendants, it's the language of the world. So Creole is French, basically mixed with African language. And we have a lot of African language in American. I go back to Tut, but not even just Tut. We have a lot of our African culture mixed in, but we are a different country. We are the biggest, we're the most powerful industrialized country in the world. So they want us to feel bad about us. So they're saying you don't have anything. They say the same thing to white Americans. Let me tell you. It's going to be hard for you. I know for a lot of Black people, but we're United States citizens. We're Americans. And they want to tell us that we are disconnected and we don't have a culture because they envy our culture. He's wearing a whole damn suit. Why isn't he wearing a dashiki or whatever the hell? Why doesn't he have on a loincloth and a sword and a bone through his nose? Yeah, I said it. Why doesn't he have a plate in his lip? Because he is also like us. He's assimilating. But he wants to talk, then he wants to point the finger at us and say, oh, you don't have a culture. Why aren't you dressed in your culture, the land of the dress of your land? Because you're jealous of us. Not only that we're Americans, but because we overcame the death that was facing us for centuries. We overcame it and we still survive, and you still follow us, and you're sniffing at our heels. You're biting at our heels. I love Africa, but what you will not do is try to stand over us. We stand over you as the progeny of slaves because we survived and we thrived and we built this country over here, and we still get shit on, even by Africans. Now I'll be quiet.
Are you Ghanaians? Yes, we are Ghanaians. Look at our passport. Ask them, what is Ghanaian culture? And they'll start looking at each other. There is no such thing. Ask them, what do you speak in Ghana? They'll start looking at each other. Ask them, what is the Ghanaian sense of value? There's no such thing. How do you guys marry in Ghana? There is no such thing. But you say you're Ghanaians. So what happened to us happened here. And when I arrived here, I understood it. When I went to Haiti, I was like, whoa. When I went to Jamaica, the same thing.
Can you pause it for me? I need you to pause that because you're running that. It is Creole. If you don't know the language, you're going to think it's Creole.
Creole.
So take several seats because I actually, huh? What are you saying?
Nah, you were saying it right. Creole.
My family is Haitian and on my dad's side and Dominican. It's Creole.
Yeah, so, that's what I'm saying. You were saying it right. I don't know why he said you didn't say Crayola.
I know. Thank you, Angola. And Angola's not even overseas.
It's Creole, not Crayola. And wrong as hell.
Yeah, he's mad as hell. Sorry, Silent K. You lost that one, my friend. But go ahead, y'all.
So when I say I was only speaking here, so I said African Americans. I would have said the same thing about my own countries in the continent. We have no culture.
Yeah, but from that video, what I got from it is you put Haitians on a pedestal.
I didn't. No, let me correct you.
When in comparison to Black Americans, you said Haitians, they have a culture. Like you said that out your mouth.
I said. So it was a long video about Haiti.
Mm-hmm.
And during that conversation, I began to talk about why Haitians can fix Haiti. Because you don't have Haitians. You have just a country forcefully imposed upon you a citizenship, but you are from different places in Africa. But right now, if you go somewhere, you would speak Creole. And somebody would say, oh, that is Haitian. That's what I meant. Not putting them on any pedestal.
So they have a language.
They created one.
So you want to say,
and it's not even useful in any way because it's not an international language.
So they took French and made Creole, right? Is what you're saying.
Spanish, French, and then over 200 African tribal languages into one.
But Americans would say that they took English and made their own language as well.
And what is that?
I mean, it's a broken version of English, but it's still something that we could speak to that's specifically to us.
What language is that?
I mean, it's English.
He's talking about
AAVE,
African American Vernacular English. The same way, for example,
I think I've heard. Yes, when I came to this country in 1994, I had a debate on my campus about Ebonics.
Right.
Now,
same thing.
Yeah, and somebody corrected me. I think it was my professor said, no, if you say Ebonics, there is no one collective Ebonics.
Correct.
You have to go into pockets. If the person is from the north, the south, the central, they created their own style around it. So I understand that part. That didn't even qualify as a subculture. So let me give you, Jamaicans don't have a culture. When you say the country Jamaica, no, there's no identifiable as a culture. But the Rastafarians have a culture. Now, let me explain what I mean by worldview. The Rastafarians' worldview is that men were put on earth to take care of nature. Okay? That wealth, you have to create more than consume. So they live a frugal life. So politically, they are pacifists. They will never go to war. Socially, they are communal and what we call Epicurean. They believe getting high, eat some food, and have deep conversation is what life is about. And then religiously, they are Rastafarians. Hippies are the Western version of Rastafarians. They also had a worldview.
Genesis, come on.
And that dictated their relationship with wealth.
The channel monetized. You want to commentary on that?
I was trying to get to the point where he said that, and then now we talk about it because he talked about Haitians, he talked about Rastafarians. He says that Rastafarians have a culture, but Haitians don't have a culture, Jamaicans don't have a culture, Americans don't have a culture, and even Ghanaians don't have a culture.
That doesn't make any sense at all.
Now, when he's talking about Ghana, he means the country formation. He's not talking about the ethnic groups within it. But what he's saying is correct in terms of Ghana. Like it's no Ghanaian culture because that's not how they identify. It's just
There's no Ghanaian culture. What about it?
No, it's not because again they're gonna put their different culture within their ethnic group. It's not you have Fonte culture, you have God Dongbe culture. You have God culture, Ewe culture, but there is no one under unifying umbrella of Ghanaian culture. That's because Ghanaian it's not a organic formation. That's a colonial concept. There's no such thing as Nigerian culture either.
You can't help but have a culture when you have a group of people that identify with each other.
It's loosely like you can go like that's what like it's a loose identifier. Like that's what I'm saying. On the continent, it's not like they don't. It's not about nationality until they get outside of their country context. When they're inside of those colonial borders, it's ethnic group. So you're not gonna hear anybody say that I have Ghanaian culture in Ghana. They're gonna have Fonte. They're gonna have Asante. They're gonna have Aquapim. They're gonna have Ga. They're gonna have Adangbe, Dagbani. That's what it's gonna be. It's not gonna be Ghanaian.
Okay, show me yourself in the background. Thank you, Ngola. Okay, we're gonna be wrapping this up in a little bit because we're gonna just try to show this little bit to the audience. It's late, and then hopefully we'll bring Frank on if he wants to come on. Dex, I gotta see who you are in the back. Please show me who you are if you want to hit the panel. I'd love to bring you up, but I gotta have you turn on your camera. All right, Genesis, show a little bit more of this. Oh, okay, great. Here's Dex. You want to say something before we start the video up again, Dex? Let me bring you up here. You're muted.
Different from us. So they are
Genesis.
Yovo.
Genesis, let me see what this gentleman has to say.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I just wanted to say, I think the term that's not being used when it comes to African American culture, is really culture appropriation. So it's like something that it's like a subculture from culture that we got from Africa. If you get what I'm saying. So
Mhm.
it's like basically like what he was talking about, the language. So Ebonics is a form of broken English, but the English that we normally speak, that's heavily popularized in America as far as like proper English, isn't the original English either. So then you got two different type of English languages when it's really three. So that's all I really want to say.
Right. And before I let you go, Dex, so look at the comment. It says, so is he saying New Orleans have a culture, Chicagoans have a culture, New Yorkers have a culture, but as a whole, Black Americans do not have a culture? Because those are what you're saying, those subcultures, right? Those are
No, because Rastafarians, I think he's going off of people that have a religion, ideology, the way that they live their life, their
Rites
language,
of passages.
and their culture.
But
Yeah,
you don't
that
have
type of
to
stuff.
have all of these. Those are all true, but you don't. It's not a checklist of okay. It's not a culture because you don't have a rite of passage. It's not a culture because you don't have. For instance, my daughter just had her quinceañera. She turned 15, right?
Is that not culture though?
That's
cultural.
That's culture, but there are Mexicans and Latinos, Dominicans, Boricuas who do not do quinceañeras, and they still have they still have their culture. They still have Latino culture.
I mean, but even Latino, like that's saying Latino culture is like saying the American culture. Like that's a misnomer as well.
No, say that again. Do you see how you just, oh, look at your baby. I love babies. Okay, what you just said right there, exactly, Ngolo. Say it again. It's the same as saying American culture, right?
Yeah, it is. But it's a like it is. It's to me that's too general. But I mean,
but it's Black culture is just American culture.
yeah, I would agree with that. That's why it's really you can't really separate it. But and even with American culture, it's like it's an amalgamation, but it's not really substantive, and that's really the problem with a lot of I would say the societal problems. It's not very substantive. A lot of the people that come over here get mixed up in the hodgepodge, and they lose the substance of the cultures that they had before. And the people that are the most successful over here, from a community and family standpoint, really cling to the cultures that they bring over here. The ones that lose it end up having family problems and all that type of other stuff, and they get caught up in the mix.
That's another thing. We have things that are part of our culture that are not. How do you say? We have survival is a part of our culture. That's a big part of our culture. And then we have within that, we have survival techniques. Let me think. Well, I don't know about y'all. Beans and rice. That became a dish for not just Latinos, but a lot of Black Americans. Corn, beans, and cornbread. Beans are part of the culture. It's a dish of the culture because it's a survival. Fatback. I know y'all don't eat pork, neither do I, but let's be real, it's a part of the culture. Fatback, stretched out meals. So there's things that are a part of our culture in America, but then people say, well, all Americans do that. Well, that's why I said we are the foundation. Our culture, everything springs out of it. And I'm not saying that there aren't Europeans who have their foundation and their culture. So I don't want to offend anybody out there, Native Americans, Latinos, Caucasians. But when we have someone who's coming at us, what I want to really say is, then I'm going to let I think the brother Dex wanted to say something else, but in Genesis, and then I'm going to hand it to you. But what I want to do, I really wanted to just show you that there are, in Golo, Genesis, these are our brothers and sisters who are really pro Africa, love Africa, protect Africa. Don't you say anything bad about Africans. And this man, he's not atypical. He's not like just one guy out of a 1,000. There's a lot of people who feel the same way about us, that we don't have any culture. And they laugh in our face. I have friends from South Africa. My friend, shout out to my very close friend Tobeka. I love her. She laughs in my face as a Black American when she's talking about her culture, her African culture. So, and y'all know that too. Jex, did you want to say something? And then I'll pass the mic back to Genesis so she can. I just want you guys to see this, the family to see that this African man is saying. And then Ngolo and Genesis, I could see where he's coming from too, but we do have a culture. I get it. But how dare he? My thing is this. Why is he not sensitive to what we've been through? It's like he's totally apathetic, in my opinion, to the fact that what we went through as his people, his brothers and sisters who were taken from the land and trafficked. He even says it. I want you to get to that part, Genesis, where he says, I'd rather thank the white man than thank what did the blacks do for me in America? Nothing. I thank the white man. He's the one who did everything. Anyway, did you want to say something, Dex? And then Genesis, maybe you could show that part. Did you want to say something?
Yeah. Well, I just want to say, it's just a lot of division now, and I think all of it is just, not all of it, but most of it is from both ways. So you got the continental African that's trying to separate themselves, but I don't necessarily think that they just trying to separate themselves from Black people. I think it's more so to do with they just don't like Americans in general too, but. The delineation part on the FBA topic is more so to do with that, like you said, they just don't sympathize with us, you know. So but one African don't speak for everybody, and one American don't speak for African American don't speak for everybody. So, you know, we gotta take that into consideration too. It's really just an internet.
It's not just one though.
Yeah. A group of
people. But
that
is a good point. Listen, I know I see some brothers and sisters who are in the chat. They say, I'm African. I don't share his views. True. This is about a common view though, because even while they're here, you know, getting what they need to do, you know, and I love them. I want them to be here. I want them to make it. But they look at us like, oh, you Americans. And it's not, look, I'm not going to just hold the Africans. It's the Caribbeans too. I love you. I have Caribbean heritage. It's Caribbeans too. So it's everybody in the back. If that's you, I got to see you. Latoya, turn on your camera.
Could I say this one more thing and then let
Sure, yeah. Everybody just turn on your camera and then turn it off so I can see who you are before I let you on the panel. Okay. Go ahead, Jax.
Okay, so it's just a collective thing at the end of the day. Like, I feel like we all should just everybody not going to agree, but I feel like we all should come to some type of common agreement with each other. You know, you got certain people that don't want anything to do with an African, and you got some in their own group that say like, I know that we have African heritage or lineage is the word that they use, but we're a totally different group of people. Like we just got to come to a common understanding that we have the same oppressor. You know what I mean? So it's like it's just we all trying to divide. We dividing ourselves, you know, as they conquering. So it's just everybody just got to get on the same page for real. That's what I wanted to say.
Gaijin. Gaijin is the Japanese word for foreigner. Do you know when you are a foreigner to Japanese?
I prefer to be called a foreigner than
no. You know when or where they will refer to you as a foreigner.
When you're not born there.
No, what I mean is when a Japanese. Anyway, when the Japanese definition of the word foreigner is not when you visit his country.
What is it?
If 4 Japanese come to the United States, they refer to everybody here as gaijin, the foreigners. Because gaijin means those who are not like us.
Okay.
So it's not only when you go to their country. When they are in your country, all of you are gaijin.
Okay.
So you're asking me, why do they call you, the black man white? Well, in Africa, we don't say that skin color is what identifies you with an ethnicity or a tribe or this. We don't. It's more of traits, personality, character. Yes. So if you have lived among the whites and you're from a Western country, yes, you wear the same skin color, but we know that if we interact, we have to learn how do we interact with this person. Okay, you wouldn't go to Ghana and feel comfortable sitting on somebody's lap because the public transport is full and sit on his lap. I don't have any problem with that because we don't have spatial communication. Only Westerners have spatial communication, which means that you don't get to yo. You know, when we were in high school, we hold each other's hands, boys. Here
in high school,
yeah,
for what?
Like walking home.
Okay.
You see what is going through your mind now?
He's like, pause.
I remember my best friend always were holding hands. We put hands on each other's shoulder and walk home. Holding hands.
I mean, but why hold hands though?
You see, you're asking why about some people's culture.
Oh, yeah, it's a cultural difference. I'm just asking.
Why are you asking why?
I'm asking what's the reason? Like, is
what
there
do you mean reason?
Oh, there's no reason. I just go ahead and
expressing love. That's how they.
I'm just trying to show you that the reason we see you as an American is because we, I can describe it. You couldn't deal with it.
But you can say Black American, not Black white American. Is the disconnect?
But my friend, I am. You see, here is the problem.
It's a huge disconnect. I am a Black American. I'm not a Black white American. I don't care.
It's a huge disconnect. You are using the word.
You
are disconnected already.
No, you're
when you visit my country, I have to help you understand many things and how to do it. So where is the disconnect?
The disconnect is just how you said. You said the Japanese, they have that term, and everybody falls under that foreigner term. It's not. They don't look at Russians and be like, only them are foreigners. The thing is, you're trying. Not you, but the culture or the tribe is saying that they have a specific, unique name for one set of people in the diaspora that they don't have for anybody else. Like I asked you, what do they call the Caribbeans? Are the
Caribbeans are not living in the white man's country?
So what do they call them?
Huh?
Do they have a name? Are they what are they named?
So this is the confusion, right? Until they say I'm Jamaican. As long as they speak with a different accent in English, we simply would say the same thing until they say, no, I'm from Jamaica. We didn't know about Jamaica and all these things. You must understand. We didn't.
And this is the Akata.
Yes, we did not know about the Caribbean.
Okay.
Our high school books didn't teach us about Caribbean. Wouldn't you understand? We thought the people they took from the continent, the first place we all know they went to, that is why most of you came. W.E.B. was died in Ghana. They didn't go to the Caribbean. They all came to. So we had this connection to learn about this group of people. But we know also that when they come to Africa, that the way they carry themselves, what they do, different from us. So they are Amaibo, Yovo, black man, white.
I get that.
Not an insult. No.
Okay.
It is.
But when
it's not.
But
so
they're not finna call no black person no Yimbo though. That's not true.
Man, a white black man, is that what they call him?
No, but what he's saying is not true though. Oyimbo they're not gonna call nobody that's black Oyimbo. Like that's not gonna happen. Oyimbo is specifically for white people.
I think that
Hi. Can I say something, please?
Hey, but Napa, are you there, Napa? Are you there? Napa, let Mighty Hebrew up because I think he wants to make a statement.
Hello, can I say something?
What he's trying to say?
Go ahead.
Right. Okay. So what I was going to say was that what you guys fail to understand. I know you guys are talking about culture and whether Americans have culture. And yeah, we do understand that you brought stuff to the forefront. But what you have to understand is that whatever you brought to the forefront, underneath it belonged to somebody else. You just enhanced it. Nothing was from you originally. This is why he's saying you don't have a culture. If you have a culture and you say you're from the land, then you must have something that's original to yourselves, basically. Even if you look at a family, every family has a blueprint of how they move. So when they go into the world, you know that they belong to this family or that family, whatever. It's just the natural way of life. So this is what he means when he says you don't have a culture. And yeah, I'll end my plane there.
Yeah, you explained it a lot better than what I did. That's why I was talking about a culture appropriation. It's like you get your culture from another culture that was original. You know what I mean? So it's like a subset of a culture. It's not a real, actual derived culture.
But even the people that we're getting the culture from, though, they're amalgamation. Like the language we speak, English, is bastardized. They got French in it. It's Latin influence. So yeah, what y'all are saying is factual, but we're taking from people that also don't have a really, I would say, not that they don't have. They have an amalgamated culture. Like, so yeah, but what y'all are saying is definitely factual.
Nepal, if you can, like, bring up Mighty Hebrew. He wants to make a statement, but let's go.
Would work because they have something. First, you have to have something to trade for that unity you're asking for. We don't have. So what is the unity? Unity based on what?
Why do we need to have something to trade for?
Then what are you going to unite with?
Because we're black and we're black everywhere.
Every other culture has unity.
Show me one culture that has unity, but they have nothing to trade among themselves. No, take a continent, because you're talking about a continent. Asia. Yeah, what is the unity? Japan invaded China.
Yes.
Colonized Korea. Tortured the Philippines. Almost went to, okay? So he's hated by many of them. But do you know where?
Yeah, this be my thing.
Mighty Hebrew wants to say something. He's on the phone. Nepal, he was trying to say something to the back, but go ahead, Mighty Hebrew. Can you guys hear?
Yeah, can y'all hear me?
Can y'all hear him?
Yeah.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, the supreme intelligent powerful one of the forefathers. I forget Scott and Yaakov. They were striving for right shit's sake. I say it to the family. Shalom Aleichem. It's definitely a privilege to be on this, panel and discuss these type of matters. Now, I live in Africa. I'm originally from Philly. I'm FBA all day. I live in Africa. I live in two locations. I live in Dimona, Israel, Northeastern Africa, and I also live in Tanzania, East Africa, and I've been to 17 African countries. And what that man is saying is emphatically false. Foundational Black Americans or African Americans do have culture. And I've been to the continent and I've seen the cultural conditions and living. We foundational Black Americans or African Americans are more Pan-African than people on the continent. When you study the social anthropological understanding of these people over here, they're more pan-tribalist. Like, for instance, when you come over here to Tanzania, there's 125 tribes in Tanzania, and each of them speak their own dialect. But since 1961, the foundational or the universal language, so to say, over here in Tanzania is Swahili. When you come to Tanzania, you go to South Africa, you go to these different countries, Ghana, I've been all over. And I'm telling y'all, don't let nobody tell y'all that Black Americans don't have culture. That's bullshit. Most people over here, when you study the culture, the youth over here, they're trying to be Black Americans. This is just a fact. When you talk about Afrobeat and you speak about the foundation of Afrobeat, just an example that was put together by Kita Fula back in the 1960s. He was from Nigeria. He went to the United States and was influenced by the Black Power movement, the Civil Rights movement, and folk music. He took that back and he intertwined it with Yoruba and created Afrobeat. He even tells you in interviews that his inspiration of creating this sound came from Black American sound. When you look at the revolutionary organizations in Africa, they all follow the lead of the Black American experience. These are just facts. So for this man, Frank, to sit up here and say, y'all don't have any form of culture, we brought culture with us from the continent. When we came in 1619, it just became amalgamated with certain things. Why you think that Black Americans are the spearhead of everything? So for people to sit back and say, we have nothing, this, that, the third, it's not us, it's them. I'm telling you, there is a disdain over here when you talk to continental Africans about Black Americans. And when the brother was saying that that word was pertaining to white people originally. He's correct. Originally, it was pertaining to them. But as time developed, they also called Black Americans that, just like in Swahili,